It is not uncommon for political figures to deal with threats. Most of them don't ever amount to much. But the shooting of Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords in Arizona last weekend has people rethinking security for representatives and their staff members. Maine Congresswoman Chellie Pingree joins us from Washington now to talk about that in the arena. Let me ask you first, what was the mood this week returning to the Capitol after the Tucson attack?
Well, it's been a very somber week here. We had a prayer service yesterday for the victims and their families, and obviously we're all thinking about Gabby every day, and pleased to see that she's making some improvement. But there was a lot of dialogue amongst the members about security and certainly about those who gave their lives. And we had a long session yesterday just recognizing the fallen and talking about the importance of what we think about going forward. Now,
a man was arrested this week in California for making death threats against a congressman from Washington State. That same man allegedly left a message at your office as well. What do you make of all that? How do you deal with it? Is it just part of doing business in the public arena?
Well, unfortunately, we get a variety of angry messages and occasional visitors and people who confront us in public situations, and it's something that you deal with in public life. But I don't think that means that you don't pay close attention to security. I think one of the things that really struck everybody in this event with Gabby, she was doing a Congress in Your Corner, an event many of us do in the grocery store. You set up a card table and you invite people to come and talk to you. It's you know, as I say, we like to have meetings in grocery stores. We like to shop in the grocery store. I like nothing more than to run into people on the street or in a restaurant and have them speak to me one-on-one about the issues that concern them. What was really striking about this event is Gabby lost a staff person. 2 others were injured, an innocent young woman, other people who had just gathered to be part of the participatory democracy that we care so much about. So I think there's a lot of conversations. We've met with security this week. All of us are talking about, you know, how is it that we conduct our lives just like everyone else and make sure we're out there with the people who want to talk to us, but we keep the people around us safe and we stay safe ourselves. It's honestly a very big challenge.
Will you take new safety measures, for example, having armed, uniformed security at public events?
Well, the fact is, it's kind of an odd thing to say, but it's not in our budget. You know, we aren't allocated a security person within our budget, and it's frankly a very large expense. I do know that we're meeting with the police that represent our district and talking directly with them in conversations, and I think we'll be more cautious about alerting law enforcement when we plan to do public events, particularly advertised public events. But like I said, you know, we all shop in the grocery store, we go to restaurants. It's not as if we want to change our lives to walk with security personnel all the time, but we are thinking about those things that will make our office more secure, that will make public gatherings that we hold more secure, and what's some reasonable level of balance. I think one thing we heard over and over again from our colleagues in Congress this week is nobody wants to give up the option of spending time with members of the public in a relaxed setting. You know, it's really only the president who travels behind a rope line and has the level of security that he does.
Now, let me ask you this. It's not surprising that this would spark more talk about gun control. Is America powerless to stop gun massacres?
Well, you know, here's a case of a young individual who clearly was unbalanced in his thinking, but also was able to buy a gun legally, to buy a considerable amount of ammunition. And frankly, he was in the district of Gabrielle Giffords, who is a strong supporter of gun rights. So I think this, too, will require a lot of conversation. I know there are bills that will be introduced into the floor that look at some of these things about automatic weapons, about the amount of ammunition that you need to have, about bringing guns into public gatherings. You know, again, I hate to think that we're all going to turn this situation into something that we just feel powerless, or that we do something that restricts our ability to be out and amongst the public.
But do you expect, would you support a return of an assault weapons ban, or at least disallowing the high-capacity magazines for those weapons?
You know, I think I will become a co-sponsor on that bill. I've just been talking with my staff about it today. But again, you know, I'm a strong supporter of hunting rights, of people owning guns. Maine is a state, of course, where we take our ability to own guns very seriously. But an automatic weapon in a public event, that's a little bit different, particularly when you see, you know, here's a 9-year-old girl being shot and ending her life too young.
That's all the time we have for the on-air portion of this week's In the Arena, but join us right away on WCSH6.com and WLBZ2.com. We're going to continue the conversation. Hope you'll join us there.